Katharine Hepburn, named the greatest female screen legend by the American Film Institute, and the most Oscar-awarded female actress in Hollywood. Who was she? Why was she so great? Katharine was born on May 12th of 1907 in Hartford, Connecticut. She was the second of 6 kids and named after her mother. Her parents were involved in the political scene. Her mother, a female campaigner, and her father, a urologist, were both passionate about social change in America. Katharine followed in her mother's footsteps, and she became a sort of feminist herself and never ended up having children. Katharine grew up in an environment where it was encouraged for her and her siblings to speak their mind. She often would accompany her mother to rallies and parades, and just the idea of self-expression was really important in their family. However, this all changed tragically when she walked in on her dead older brother after he had just committed suicide. After that, she withdrew. She didn't want to go to high school, and instead she finished her schooling at home. A few years later, she finally got out of the house and went to Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania. She was still a bit quiet and pretty unpopular among her fellow comrades, and by the end of sophomore year, she was failing her classes. However, to everyone's surprise, she announced her plans to become an actress and set out to New York after graduating. When she got to New York, she actually got hired and started doing theater, but she actually didn't even make it to opening night because throughout the process and throughout rehearsal, because of her lack of training and her outspoken attitude, she was fired. In 1932, however, she made her debut on Broadway. She played the Amazon Queen in The Warrior's Husband. In this play, she wrestled the leading man. This, to viewers, was shocking, even to directors, and really caught the eye of people that were producing in Hollywood. She flew to California and did a few tests with some of the directors, and in 1932, she was cast as the leading role in A Bill of Divorcement. After this film and a few others, her career didn't exactly take off in the 1930s. Most of her movies failed, and she was even dubbed box office poison by the media. This, however, changed when she got cast in A Philadelphia Story, a play actually written about Katharine and made into a movie later on. We see a different kind of performance, a performance made for Katharine in this movie. We see a side of her that viewers haven't seen before. This film was different for a few reasons and special. Not only was she cast in this movie, but stars like Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant also accompanied her in this movie. The audience was able to see a different side of Katharine as an actress. Complexity started to come out where she not only portrayed this woman who was sophisticated, but also very vulnerable and relatable on the other hand. We see in The Philadelphia Story this sort of love triangle and her ability to control and to sway those around her. Katharine Hepburn was different. She was special. She was brought up in a way where she was taught to express herself and be outspoken, and she was that. For some people, she was a problem because of those attributes. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and she would work really hard to get what she wanted. As an actress, she was always driven, always ready for the next role. During her 66-year career, she was featured in 44 films, 8 television movies, and 33 plays. In this time, she was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won Oscars for Morning Glory, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, The Lion in Winter, and On Golden Pond. Morning Glory originally wasn't even offered to Katharine. It was for another actress of the day. Katharine saw the script and she said that it was hers. She needed to have that role. And similarly to the character that she portrays, it's just about this woman trying to make it in show business. It reflects Katharine's own tenacity in the film industry. Like in the beginning of her career, after Philadelphia's Story and sort of in her middle years, Katharine started to decline again. And it really picked up with The African Queen. This spectacular pair, Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn together starring in the same movie. We see them both in a different environment. Both of them a little more rugged, both of them not as sophisticated. For this movie, unlike movies today, this movie was shot in Africa on location. Although Katharine Hepburn did not win an Oscar from her acting in The African Queen, she was nominated for an Academy Award. There was a moment, even in shooting, where her character is sort of condescending towards her counter, Mr. Allnutt. A few days into shooting, director John Huston pulls her aside and asks her to be more of a lady. She sort of takes offense to this, and she says, well, what kind of lady? John Huston then refers to Eleanor Roosevelt, who thought of herself as ugly, but every time she wore a smile, it changed completely the environment that she was in. Katharine, in her book, The Making of the African Queen, says that this piece of direction is the single best piece of direction she's ever received as an actress. After that, she completely understood the character, and this changed the way the rest of the movie was going to be portrayed by these actors. A lot of what we remember Katharine for is not only a driven actress who acts her heart out, but really a vivacious and exuberant woman ready for any role that is placed in front of her. One of her most important roles, I would argue, is when she portrayed Christina Drayton in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Thanks to her background and what her parents were doing in activism, this was a perfect role for her. This mother who invites her white daughter and her black fiance over for dinner just invites us with a subtle message to really see the prejudices that are within ourselves that we might have dismissed. We see a range of where this character takes us, from knowing exactly what the right thing is, then moving along to maybe being unsure of what was happening inside of her when her daughter brings home her black fiance. Katharine continues to be a star among stars, from someone who really didn't have any formal training to an actress who is able to really portray the complexities of the human experience. Even in the theater business and then later on in the film industry, Katharine never settled. She always wanted to be the star and the lead. Not only was Katharine a different kind of actress on screen, she was also a different kind of woman. In many aspects, she was ahead of her time, breaking the mold of what a woman would look like back then. Along with her tenacious work ethic and her uninterest in leading a celebrity lifestyle, her life was very private. She was uninterested in the social scene of being a celebrity or being well known. She didn't do very many interviews and didn't talk to fans much. However, she was married to Ludlow Ogden Smith in her earlier years, but once moving to the film industry, she got introduced to other men and quickly left Ludlow. One of the not-so-secret relationships she had was with Spencer Tracy. Tracy and Hepburn filmed 9 movies together. Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, and that quickly transitioned into an off-screen relationship as well. Their last movie shot together was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and only a few weeks after that, Spencer Tracy died. She continues to be an icon, a name in the list of the greatest actors and actresses of American television. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation of Katharine Hepburn. Thanks for watching.